when it comes to choices, what we're trying to think of is how do you allocate your resources and your time and everything to make you the most happy, right? So think of all things that you can consume and think of how do you require them, right? You buy them. But then how do you afford these things? You have to work for them, right? So then you must make a choice on how you spend your money and more importantly your time, right? So it basically comes down to like choices, right? So you can either hang out with your friends and get benefit from that, or you can go to work and get paid for your time. So then you got to balance out like how much time do I spend with my friends and how much time do I want to spend as my leisure. Leisure is just time away from work. It's how you relax at home or how you're going to the movies, having fun, all that. So that's your leisure, and then you have your work, right? So that's just one example of a choice. But really, choices can be anything. But how do we use our limited resources the best way possible? Well, first, we could produce everything that we consume. That's how we used to do it back in the traditional economics way, where if you wanted to eat, you actually had to go out and farm and produce it, right? Or nowadays, we could just produce some of what we want and then just trade for the rest of what we want. So think about how you do now, where you can make some things at home, right? But if you wanted something else, right, you can go and to a store and buy it. So you're trading, right? You're trading money to get something that you can't produce. That's how we do things these days. And it's actually improved the economy much more. You actually have to grow a lot more. There's a lot more benefits that we're definitely going to get into. So like in the pioneer days, individuals, they knew how to build homes, grow crops, hunt, repair equipment, right? People knew how to do everything. Now, you could argue like, oh, that we should go back to those times. But let's think about it. If you knew how to do everything, how good are you at everything, right? So then today, we don't even need to know everything, right? We don't need to know how to do all these things because of specialization and division of labor. So by specializing something, you actually be doing something better and producing a better product. Yeah, you don't know everything, but think about it. Someone else can do something better than what you can. So it might be worth for you to go out and get that. You can work and for pay in order to trade your money for that better product than what you can produce, right? So specialization and division of labor has actually been a lot better for our economy. So the idea of division of labor came from Adam Smith in his book Wealth of Nations. And it's really the way one produces a good or service, and then it's divided into a number of tasks that different workers perform. So how he discovered this really was he was looking at this factory where they were making pins, so little pins to put like paper in a wall. So what he found is that there were 18 different tasks that were basically performed to make this one pin. And so those tasks were drawing out the wire, cutting it, straightening it out, putting the head on it, packaging, etc. Right? So think about it, like one person producing all 18 tasks, that'd be really tedious. It'd be you would have 18 people doing 18 different tasks, right? And so you're not able to specialize. And so what he suggested was, well, what if one worker did one task? Right? So each worker specialized in at least 2 or 3 tasks instead of just performing all 18. And what happened was that they saw an increase in the total production, right? Obviously, right? Because, think about it from a restaurant standpoint, right? You have different areas in order to serve food to the customers, right? You have the top chef, sous chefs, the servers, the greeters, janitors, all those people are there in order to produce that one product. It'd be really mayhem if you had everybody trying to do everything, right? Like the greeter was also serving the table, taking the orders, bringing them back, cooking the food themselves, right? It's a lot better and a lot faster if you have the division of labor here. So there are 3 reasons for why we saw this increase in production. Number 1 was the specialization, focusing on a part of production where you have the advantage. So everybody has different skills and talents, interest or education, or just geographically there are differences to where it's just better for you to do a certain task, right? Think about it, like if you were a greeter and you're trying to just do something else with your life, you just want to make a little bit of money right now, you don't really necessarily want to cook, right? Well, before you would have to greet and cook the food. all right? And you just don't have the talent for it, the interest, so you're not going to produce a good product. So basically, we're going to have the people that are interested in cooking be the chefs, and by that alone, we will have more production. Okay? Another reason is that specializing in tasks from a worker becomes quicker, and you produce a higher quality. Right? The more practice you do something, the better you're going to get at it. In many cases, a business is more successful with one or a few products than just a wide range of products. All right, so similar to what we just talked about, how if you're doing one thing, you're going to get better at it and produce it better and faster. Okay? Another thing that we saw was a thing called economies of scale. So with this one, what we're trying to say is as the level of production increases, think about like Amazon going from a garage to these big warehouses, okay? Where as they grew into these big warehouses, they actually saw the average cost of production being lowered. All right, so going from just a garage to the actual warehouse, it was actually better for them. And think about it, right? You have more room to work, and you're able to move around a little bit better and produce more. So think of like an assembly line too. So once they discover the assembly line and how that works and how people can specialize and get better and move faster, then we saw more production. So these are the three reasons why we saw this increase. Okay. Specialization, right? Going back to what we said earlier, you don't need to know everything. Okay, you don't need to know how an engine works in order to drive a car. You don't. Okay, you just turn the key and you go. The market allows us to learn a specialized set of skills, gain income from that, and then use it to pay for goods and services that you want. Okay, so let's think about from a car standpoint, right? So you work a job, you get paid, and you're using your money for whatever you want. Okay, and then your car breaks down. Now, back in the olden days, you didn't know how to fix your car, right? But you had to if you wanted to use it. But now we have mechanics that are specialized in that, to where you don't need to know how to, fix a car from A to Z, but you can use the money that you're getting from working in order to pay a mechanic to do it for you. Okay, and by the way, that's just going to be a lot faster, right? If you've ever worked on a car by yourself, it takes, and you're new to it, right? It's going to take a long time, so it's just going to be a lot faster in order for you to just pay a mechanic to do it. Okay, this is just how our modern society has evolved into just a much stronger economy. Okay, so next thing we'll talk about is the difference between micro and macro.